Welcome to the source. Happy World Wildlife Day. Here is the Telluselle Living podcast, The Source, your source of inspiration and good things. My name is Telluselle, and today we're celebrating wildlife. We've just entered March, and that means we're slowly putting winter behind us, get more daylight in the northern hemisphere, and enter the season of spring and the natural element of wood, according to Chinese medicine. Hopefully, this means we'll be able to see new sprouts, fresh vegetation, and little flowers bestowing us with their beauty. The birds will be singing a little louder and more, and we might get another storm with lots of wind necessary to blow away the winter. Luckily, I live across the street from a protected area of forest in Stockholm, Sweden, where I get to experience this firsthand, as well as encounter wild animals on a regular basis. I've seen beautiful butterflies swirling during summer, heard a woodpecker peck on trees, seen wild bunnies eating grass, squirrels collecting seeds, and on occasion even met various deer. To see photos of these, have a look at the website telluselleliving.com in the blog. Which are the animals, trees, and flowers you see where you live throughout the year? I've always been inclined to feel fascinated by wildlife. In fact, my very first word that I uttered was tiger in Swedish, tiger. When I was a little girl traveling with my parents to India and Bangladesh, it was also there I pulled something that I thought was exciting sitting in the backpack of my dad, which turned out to be a giant anaconda. Not surprisingly, my mother screamed and they quickly hurried away from the tree where it had laid itself to rest on a branch. A snake that big can pull up a toddler and squeeze it to death. Nonetheless, I still enjoy meeting animals in the wild. When I lived in Hawaii for a couple of years, studying organizational change and learning to dance hula, I became more aware of both endangered and endemic species and the importance of ocean health. I got to see the awake volcano on Bug Island, and walking on lava is a sight I'll never forget. Endemic means that the species only can be found in that particular place, and endangered means that it's close to extinction, whether by natural causes, by changes in the environment, or due to too much hunting by humans. Being aware of and in tune with wildlife brings a better understanding of our own place in the ecosystem. When we realize how we too are part of nature, wherever we live, it becomes easier to feel a sense of belonging and a sense of oneness with nature. I think if by simply acknowledging how alive everything is in nature, it invigorates me and reminds me of my place in the ecosystem and how much predator I want to be, as well as always being aware of that there are predators of much greater threat than I am. To know this within is to recognize a power greater than us, which gives us a more humble perspective on life. If you want to look at this as a life coaching team, you can ask, what is endangered in your life? What is rare that you might have stopped doing without even noticing because of time constraints or becoming too occupied with other things? Is that something you can take up and do again? Believe it or not, but dancing almost became endangered in my life when I focused on making a career in copywriting and advertising in my late 20s and already had to accept that my knee injury, both physically and emotionally, impaired me from seeking a dance career. So I stopped altogether for several years, except for occasional clubbing, which in turn brought me to long for more beats, which became drum beats and taking up West African dance. Which I'm so glad I did, because dancing really brings me joy. It's way too easy to become complacent and settle from mundane routines so much that we forget what really makes us feel happy and joyful. What is that for you? Another question is, what would make you feel wilder? One of the founding mothers of modern dance, Isadora Duncan, once has famously said, "You were once wild, don't let them tame you." By this we can understand that there is a freedom in nature, especially when it's undisturbed by humans, that we too belong to and can feel and experience. We can look at the butterflies, for example, and let them inspire our dancing. We can bring with us our own memories of nature as inner images to soothe our souls and use in her choreographies. It probably is why Isadora preferred to be naked underneath the silk tunic, and why she so eloquently understood and taught motions with a soft flow and light jumps, bringing joy. The same is true for Hawaiian hula dance, where each hand motion corresponds to a description in the song's lyrics, often talking about a specific place or used as a metaphor for a relationship with their flower garlands. In yoga, some of the asanas are inspired by animals, and in Qigong, many of the motions are meant to balance ourselves through our connection with the natural flow of energy, including that in nature. While it might be too cold to practice outside in March, you can still go outside and have a look with more presence and awareness next time you go for a walk. Are there any buds on the trees? When does the grass grow again? How is the season where you live? Realizing my identity as a being of nature and caring about it is what brought me to change my name to Telluselle and to make it into a brand. If you want to support nature financially, I recommend checking out World Wildlife Fund, the WWF, which does a great job on a global scale. And the next episode of the SOAR podcast is aired on March the 8th to celebrate International Women's Day. To get some inspiration for better sisterhood and respecting women, tune in to the SOAR podcast on March the 8th. Thanks for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe for more life coaching tips. And remember, care about yourself, others, and Earth. Aloha!